You know that feeling, right? It's the middle of the night, you're staring at the ceiling, and your brain just will not switch off. Or maybe you're about to walk into a big meeting and you can literally feel your heart trying to pound its way out of your chest. That feeling of being totally overwhelmed, yeah, a lot of us know it way too well. It really does feel like your brain has 100 tabs open at once, and you can't find the one that's playing the music. But here's the most important thing to get right away. Anxiety isn't some kind of personal failing. It's not a weakness. It's actually a physiological response. It's your body's alarm system just being a little too good at its job. So let's get into it. The amazing news is that we have a manual override for that alarm system, and that's what we're talking about today. We're going to dive into some really cool science-backed tools that let you basically hack your own nervous system. These techniques can shift you from that state of high alert and stress right back to a place of calm and control. First up, let's talk about the most powerful tool you have. And the best part? You carry it with you everywhere you go. I'm talking about your breath. It is, without a doubt, the fastest and most direct way to hit the reset button and signal to your brain that everything is actually okay. Okay, let's start with a real powerhouse technique. It's called Cyclic Sighing. This was popularized by neuroscientist Andrew Huberman, and it's got solid research behind it from Stanford University. Now, this isn't just taking a deep breath. No, it's a very specific pattern that's designed to rapidly calm your nervous system down. And get this, the science here is pretty staggering. A study found that doing just 5 minutes of cyclic sighing a day led to greater improvements in mood than doing 5 minutes of mindfulness meditation. Let that sink in. That's an incredible return on your time. And it's so simple to do. You can do it with me right now. Just take a slow, deep inhale through your nose. Now, when you feel like your lungs are full, sneak in one more little sip of air, and then just let it all go with a long, slow, controlled exhale through your mouth. Seriously, just 1 or 2 of those can make a world of difference almost instantly. Here's another amazing one for your toolkit, sometimes called a natural tranquilizer. It's the 4-7-8 method. It goes like this. You inhale quietly through your nose for a count of 4. You hold your breath for a count of 7, and then you exhale completely through your mouth for a count of 8. That long exhale, making it twice as long as the inhales, is the real magic trick here. It strongly activates your vagus nerve, which basically acts like a brake on your body's stress response. It's fantastic for quickly lowering your heart rate. All right, so hacking your breath is huge, but what's next? Well, we can actually use our bodies to tell our minds to chill out. You know, sometimes when your thoughts are just spiraling out of control, the best way to stop them is to physically interrupt the cycle. This is all about that mind-body connection. And here's the core principle that makes this work so well. It's actually really hard from a physiological standpoint for your brain to stay anxious when your body is deeply relaxed. Think about it. They're basically competing signals. And the cool part is we can choose which signal wins. One of the absolute best ways to do this is with something called progressive muscle relaxation, or PMR. What this does is make you super aware of the tension you're holding in your body, tension you probably don't even notice. By tensing up a muscle group on purpose and then letting it go, you're literally training your brain to recognize and release that tension whenever you want. So here's how it works. You could start with your hands. Just make tight fists, really squeeze them for about 5 seconds. Then just let go completely. And for the next 10 or 20 seconds, really pay attention to that feeling of relaxation that flows into your hands. Then you just move on to your arms, your shoulders, your face, and you work your way through your whole body. But okay, what if you need something you can do right in the middle of a stressful situation with your eyes wide open? That's where the 5-4-3-2-1 grounding technique is an absolute lifesaver. It is such a powerful way to stop a thought spiral dead in its tracks by pulling you out of your head and back into the real world. What this method does is it forces your brain to engage with your senses. You just pause wherever you are and you mentally name 5 things you can see around you. Then 4 things you can physically touch or feel, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and finally 1 thing you can taste. This literally yanks your attention away from that internal worry loop and plops it right back into your physical reality. It's a fantastic pattern interrupt. So once we've used our breath and our body to create some space and calm, then we can turn our attention to the source of the anxiety itself, our thoughts. Because let's be real, those unhelpful thought patterns are the fuel that keeps the anxiety fire burning. But the good news is we can learn to spot them and even change them. The big technique here is called cognitive reframing. Now, this is not about just think positive or toxic positivity. Not at all. It's more like being a detective for your own thoughts. You learn to examine the evidence, check for biases, and find a more realistic, balanced way of looking at things. A super simple way to start is just to label your emotions. Just saying out loud, I am feeling anxious, can activate the more logical parts of your brain and help calm things down. A really easy way to practice this is the catch it, check it, change it method. It's so simple. First, you just catch that automatic negative thought, like, oh no, I'm definitely going to fail this presentation. Then you check it. You ask yourself, is that 100% true? What's the actual evidence here? And finally, you change it to something more balanced, like, okay, this is going to be tough, but I've prepared for it and I've handled hard things before. A great way to make this a real habit is by keeping an anxiety journal. A really effective trick, especially if you have trouble sleeping, is to do what's called a data dump before bed. You just write down every single worry and concern that's bouncing around in your head. This gets the thoughts out of your mind and onto the paper, which helps clear your mental cache and signals to your brain that it's finally safe to power down and rest. So, we've covered a whole lot of ground here, right? We've gone from your breath to your body and all the way to your mind. The really important thing is to start seeing these not as just random tricks, but as a collection of tools that you can put into your own personal mental health toolkit. So let's do a quick recap. You've got cyclic sighing and 4-7-8 breathing to hit that physiological reset button. You've got progressive muscle relaxation and the 5-4-3-2-1 method to ground yourself in your body. And you've got cognitive reframing to start taking control of your thoughts. That's a really versatile set of skills you had at your disposal now. And I think this quote really says it all perfectly. These tools aren't magic cures. Look, feeling anxious is just part of being human. But having these techniques in your back pocket gives you a sense of control. It empowers you. It's knowing that you can actively do something to influence how you feel and how you respond to whatever life throws at you. So just remember this. You absolutely have the power to manually override your body's alarm system. You can reclaim your calm. The only question is, which one of these tools are you going to reach for